So I'm not really sure where to start with all this. I know what I'm doing with it, but the whole list looks overwhelming to me. So I'll start with the most urgent, which would be the seedlings I picked up last night. They need to go straight in the ground. I wanted to get them in yesterday, but today's the day. So they're sitting in these moist little paper cell things. I don't know what they're called, but I've got a nice little assortment from Sell It. You can buy individual seedlings instead of whole punnets from them. They're in Seville in Victoria. So I've brought a few home, things that I don't have in the garden to throw in gaps. So let's see where we can squeeze them in. So this pot does have probably enough in it, but it doesn't have much colour. So I've got some yellow raspberries growing in here that are yet to take off, and I've put a collard in the centre, and I've put one little garlic chives in here. Well, that'll add flowers. And then what have is that a yarrow? I think I've put, yes, a little yarrow here. There's another yarrow just below it. I'm thinking I might add the pink surprise calendula. So I had the yellow and orange calendulas, but this is called pink surprise. So I'm going to pop that in, and this hopefully too will drop its seeds down here, and I'll get more of them in the end. Now I think I'll put it over there. So because they're in these little cells, I don't have to touch the roots really. I just need to make a little hole and pop them in. And that is one down. Now let's see if that goes back over that. Might just put it over that. Now down here I have a pot that I move around the garden a bit, and I put it near the drippers, and it faithfully grows garlic chives, which this is the plant that the bees really gravitate to, and this pot in particular. Now I've thinned it out, taken them out and put some around the garden. I've got an endive in there, but that endive will eventually finish. So I'll put some more colour in here, and I'll put some snapdragons in. And then I can move it to wherever I want to add a bit of colour when it's flowering. I can nurse it here where I know it will do well, and I might put them both in here as a little group. It's two different colours. Let's make sure. One's a pink one and one's a maroon one. So I forgot the name of that one, so I'll have to ask Sarah again. And this one was called Apple Blossom. So we'll put the Apple Blossom in there and see how they go in the pot. I don't grow as much in pots, anywhere near as much in pot as I do in garden beds in the ground, because I struggle to keep the water up to them. But I know if I place them near the drippers or put a dripper in it, they are happy as Larry. So that's an Aussie saying, if you're not familiar with that, happy as Larry. So Larry's must be happy. So over near the curly kale, and in between that and some of the garlic chives I moved, I'll put the leeks, I think, because, I was a bit rough pulling that out. I've got 4 leeks here. I'll pop these in, and they will probably come up through the leaves of the kale and still get their light. Just make sure there's no fertiliser near the roots. So I'll put them in there. And the ground's pretty moist because we have had rain, but I will still go back and water all of these after I've planted them later to make sure they're freshly watered. I do have a few kales growing and so far being left alone, which is good to see because they're usually the first thing to be attacked. So I've got the red Russian kale, a large Tuscan kale, but Salad had a baby Tuscan. So I'm assuming that doesn't take up a lot of room. So I'm going to pop it over in the very corner while the dahlia is dormant over there, and I'll pop it in the very corner to grow happily there, and it can come up over the edge and protect the dahlias from moisture. Pop a little hole over there, move away the mulch first, it's very soft there. Oh, the dahlias, I just see a tuber down there, that looks pretty happy. Oh, and I also see an earwig, so let's deal with that. So we'll get the little, there it is, look, it's ready to go. It's waiting to be planted. In we go. So obviously I had to be careful where I put that tag. I didn't want to pierce my dahlia. Now just here, I would love a little backdrop of red right behind the beetroot. There is a brassica, I can't remember what I planted behind there. There's a couple of big growing things behind there, but just where the brace piece is on my bed, just after that, I think I'll put one of the red silver beets. So I've got a crimson and ruby. No, burgundy and ruby, I think they are. So I'll pop one of them behind there for a bit of colour. Watch me grow. This is my little tag that Sarah gave me. She gives everyone a little saying. She picks them out for them. So, ruby silver beet. I will take off that leaf and pop this precious little one in at the back there. Okay, let's go in there. The garden is so full now, it's a little bit tricky to get the camera in really close for you. Some spots, which is good. If we fill the garden up, there's no room for the weeds, and the biodiversity's there. Oh look, I found one of my scrunchies. And yeah, the biodiversity's there, so the microbes have a party, and you've got the versatility for the soil, so therefore for the plants to be growing. I'm just picking a couple of weeds out as I see them. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the, that's wombok I've got growing in amongst that. That's one of the things I planted. And then at the back, I had a cabbage, golden acre cabbage, growing up there. So I think that'll be fine in there. It'll grow up taller and come up from there. So another one we squeezed in. And then the burgundy one will pop right up the back there, just behind the elephant garlic. Look at, get the fertiliser out of the way. And just in front of the peas, and just behind a swede. So I've got a lot of beetroot in the Y bed, so I'm coming out to bed 3. There's not a lot of beetroot in bed 3, so I'll squeeze in. I've got a few gaps that I can take advantage of here. I think I've got 6 little seedlings, 3 red rings beetroot, which I've never grown before, and the Tiaga, I think it's pronounced. I went over the pronunciation about 6 times yesterday, 7 times maybe. I've probably pronounced it wrong, but I've got them in seed and I've got them in the garden somewhere, but I grabbed some advanced seedlings to get some more growing. Let's pop them in here, I think. Okay, so I've got elephant growing in here, but just behind it, did I say elephant? Elephant garlic. Just over here, there's a strawberry. I don't think I've put in anything in here. There's a strawberry, a summer breeze, which has got a lovely flower on it. The baby potatoes are trying to grow in here, but there's a little spot just here, and I think I'll put one lot in here. I'll group them together so I know which is which, and I'll put which ones will I put? I think I'll get the new ones in that I haven't got. Red ring beetroot, I'll get them in here. So I'll take these. They've even got red roots, these have. It's interesting. I don't know if I've seen that before on beetroot. Yeah, they're beautiful red roots. So my cassava has died right back for winter. Even the branches are all going to break off, so I'll move them out of the way. So there's a bit of a gap here that I can pop the beetroot in. I do have some onions coming in here, so I've got to allow room for them. And looks like I put a garlic chive in there, but we only need 3 in here. So 1, 2, 3, and that's a little nice group of them. So I'll put them there. They'll have the most room. So I'll give them that spot. That's a little group too, a little smaller group. And we're done. Now I'm really glad to have that done, because with seedlings I like to get them in ASAP, and particularly want these ones because this does keep them nice and moist, but their roots are a little exposed, so best to get them in straight away. So I could even repurpose these. I might even do that today and use that to put some larger seeds in to get them going. The job that got away from me is the dragon fruit. I realised how long they have been sitting in just this coconut peat, which is, there's nothing in it for them. They were only meant to be there until they grew roots, and then I was potting them up, and I have yet to pot them up. They'd look healthy as, but I can imagine they've probably got plenty of roots to pot up now, and if I don't think to do it, you know, they're never going to take off, are they? So we'll take these over to the potting bench and give them something to live in. That one's wanting to fall over. So let me have a look. Okay, you can see them at the bottom. I really don't want to pull this away from it too much until I'm ready to pot up, but look. Oh, it's a lizard hiding in there. It's a lizard's home. I thought it was a snake for a minute. Look. Well, I hope it's a lizard. Oh gosh. I'm pretty sure it will be, but yeah, I went to touch the roots and that's the tail. Let's put it back in there. Sorry, little fella. It's a smart lizard because it's nice and warm in the hot house, so it knew where to take up residency. So I've done 2 of these, and I'm going to try the one that had the tail in it. I just hope that is a lizard. So this is the one that had a friend inside, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there it is. Oh, good. Here we go. Hopefully you can see this. It's a little lizard. I feel really bad, but I don't want to bury him either. So I'll go put him in the garden. I've just upset his home. Come on, little fella. Here you go. Put him in the wood chip area. He's got lots of places to hide, and he didn't drop his tail, thankfully. So he's not that frightened of me. There he goes. Okay, this should make the the rest of this much easier, unless there's more in there, but at least I know they're lizards. I was pretty confident it would be, but you never know. Okay, just going to take some of this off the top mainly. I've been taking it off the top. There's not many roots up high. And I save a little bit of that. And then, just looking at, and then I put it in the soil. So I've got probably about 2-3 inches of soil down there, about 3 inches. Just sit that on there. And I'll put this around the side. This one threw out an air root and it's up the top. I'm just going to bury that while I go. I'll pack it in a bit more. There we go. And then I'll bring this back. And it can act as a mulch on the top and hold the moisture in. Then I'll go put this one with the others in the wheelbarrow to wick up some water. And then I will give it a drink of maybe some kind of fertiliser. I haven't decided yet. Probably compost fertiliser. I have just bought some stuff, so we'll see. Usually I don't leave a wheelbarrow out to collect rainwater and just sit there, but sometimes I leave them out deliberately when I know I'm going to do some planting so that I can use rainwater to water the new plants or the potted up plants, because rainwater is far better than town water. So, squeezing out. Some of them had more roots than others, but all of them have developed well, nicely. I've had no failures of the dragon fruit, so that is a good thing. Right, put that in there. And the grass tie is held out on it. I used weedy grass while it was pliable as a tie to hold that on a bit more. Probably needs some more. I think on that one I might grab, what have I got over there? Some potting mix. Stay. They're still a bit wonky they'll be wonky in these pots, but eventually when the roots really kick off to that size, I think it'll be more solid, and then by that stage, hopefully I've got the time and a little bit of help putting together some structures for them to set them up in a more permanent pot with the proper support. There we go. Give that one a drink too. Now I need to put all the tags back in too. So I got these hollyhocks on special from you know where. But when I brought them home, I found they had scale on them. So I have been treating them repeatedly indoors, isolated. And I'm hoping they're fine now. They were pretty dried out. They were just kind of suffering, and so the pest just moved in on them. But they were like that in the shop. I just didn't. I usually check, and I checked everything else, I think, at that, but I forgot to check them. They're the things I should have checked. But anyhow, I'm trying to save them and not bring extra problems into my garden. So I think they're fine. I've just gone and removed the dead leaves off them now and giving them some potting mix and some water and seeing if we can have them kick off and give them a better life. So you can see I've removed a lot of the leaves off some of them as I've been treating it. Just trying to keep some. And when I say treat it, I'm just using my eco oil that I make that's just got a bit of vegetable oil, warm water to dissolve it, but vegetable oil and a little bit of natural soap. And I know that it's proven to work on other plants that I've seen scale on. And pretty much one dose like kills them. But I didn't risk one dose. I gave it about 4 or 5. So I've got 2 that have just soaked in the wheelbarrow and another 2, 4, 5. So I've got 7. And that's my lucky number. So I reckon we'll be fine. I've got this garlic that needs to go in somewhere. Wants to grow. So I'm going to give it an opportunity to grow. I'll have to mark that. That's not marked, but there's a label ready. And these came off the elephant garlic a couple of years ago. So I don't know if they'll grow or not. But I'm going to start them off all bunched together in just a little punnet tray thing, just a small one for now, and just see if they do grow. I've pre-soaked these, the garlic and these little things from before. Yeah, I pre-soaked it in a solution, so to give it a bit of, hopefully a head start or just to wake it up a bit. Oh, they just broke off. I think they are already sprouting. I think I just broke one of the little sprouts off then, so they may in fact have already started. We'll soon find out in a couple of days probably. Just be a bit more gentle with those. It's a bit tricky with gloves. Alright, just gently push them so that they've got a little bit of room between each other. And put some of that over top. Just gently, and I'll water them in. So something I'm not really good at is succession sowing. So I tend to sow in batches and then forget to keep sowing these things. So this year I'm trying to be a little bit better, and I haven't been great at it. I should be kind of sowing the same thing each week or each fortnight, but it's more like every month or 2. So I have got peas in at the moment. They've been in since May, or late April, I think. No, May. And it's now the 1st of July today that I'm doing this. So I have got different shelling peas in and snow peas that are growing at different rates because they're different varieties, so that happens. But today I'm putting some purple potted shelling peas into water, and I'll show you what I'm doing for that. And some just regular green early shelling peas. The name is, just hang on, the name is Early Crop Macy. So I've got those going. I've also got some more broad beans going. I've got 3 lots of broad beans in the garden, one that's self-sowed, one that I sowed that I've had it struggle, and some crimson variety that I've put into water a couple of days ago. And I've added also today some silver beet. I think it's either silver beet or perpetual spinach. So I had it growing in a garden bed, and I do have to go back over my records. I thought it was perpetual spinach, but I think it might be silver beet. And we don't have a lot of silver beet growing at the moment, so or we've got spinach growing but not perpetual spinach, which is a little bit different. So I've popped those in, and now I'm going to produce some flowers. So I'm going to get some ranunculi in. So I've got some ranunculus in already growing, and they're about way big, so I'm starting some more. Because not everyone has got a dedicated area to do these things, so I keep my kitchen very clean, but we kind of manage compost and little plants to the side, and then our bench area over there, and a little bit here. So you do what you got to do what you do. So ranunculus have a little corm that is lifted, just like you lift some other bulbs. Now these I have bought. They're from the seed collection, and I've bought 3 different colours. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some separately so that I can label them and know that that's that colour if I ever want to pass them on. And I'm going to mix some as well for the garden. So I'll get these out so you can have a look. They are rather unique looking. There's one stuck in the bag. I'll get that in a minute. So there they are, these rather spidery looking things. And you plant them downwards, so you treat these little spidery ends like roots, and you plant them downwards with the fluffy bit at the top upward. And you plant them about the size, at least the size of the corm, or double down into the soil. But what I'm doing is I'm getting them started with some liquid. I've written the tags out first, which is important because, yeah, when you're doing it, you can lose track. Well, I can lose track of which one's which. So having the tags already done is good. I pop them gently, slide them down into a container. It doesn't really matter what container you use. And I put the tag in straight away and then fill it with liquid. So these ones are the pink ones, and I've got these ones are burgundy, so we'll put them in there. Actually, let me not forget the one that's in the bag. Pop it in there. Now I keep the bags for storing them later, and obviously it's got a bit of instructions on them. So I've just put on this bag. Yes, so the burgundy. Now there's 20 in the bag, so there's quite a lot. And this one is white. So I've got pink, burgundy and white, which I think will look really lovely together. I'm trying to put more pink in my garden. And the white. What happened to that one? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I got them in the cups, and what I'm trying out is a plant starter. So I don't know if this is just like sea salt, but I think it's got some, it's got plant extracts in it as well. So I got this from the Aussie Gardener, and I've bought a heap of stuff from them just recently because they are struggling, and I really like to get behind our small businesses that are struggling right now. So because I really identify what that feels like. Now this, you usually dilute for transplants about 20 ml to every 9 litres of water. So what I've done on the peas, I've just got a little bit of water, them soaking like this, and I've just put a drop of it in there, just so there's something in there other than the water. Now the reason why I do the peas like this is because I have had a lot of trouble with mice or birds digging up the peas before they even get going. So I will plant peas. In the early days I would plant peas and I would get nothing because they would either rot in the ground or the pests would get to them. So now I pre-sprout inside. So I soak them in water. I soak them in, like drown them for about a day. Then I tip off the excess water and just keep them moist with a napkin over top. And that way I pre-sprout them just like you would grow sprouts inside. So once they sprout and they burst the little root out of them, then I plant them, and that gets them off to a head start. And I'm hoping putting this plant starter in it actually makes them even stronger and more robust. But it gets them off to a head start before anything can get to them, before they actually become a plant. So that is what I found works for me. Now in true lazy gardener style, I just put a dribble in a cup of water of the plant starter, and I'm going to just pour a little bit into each of these cups, which I won't do here. I will do it over the sink. So I'm just going to make sure that they're covered. They'll absorb some of the water. I'll keep that for perhaps something else. So there you go. They are all sitting there ready to plant. We've got a garden bed going in hopefully today or over the next couple of days. So that will be no problem if they are sitting there now. So plan your seeds when you know you can plant them out though. Don't kind of start soaking and go, oh no, where am I going to put them? So the other thing, I know this is stating the obvious, but if I'm leaving I can hardly write on this. In front of the camera, I'm a bit wonky. Plant liquid. I'm going to put that there on the bench, but let's just in case somebody decides that's not something for plants, it's something to drink. So it's very, very unlikely to happen, but it pays to be safe than to be sorry if you're sharing zones like I do in the kitchen.